little trick. Okay. Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Gabor, and I come from planet Earth. And the clicker is still not working. Now it's working. So, this picture here was taken approximately 40 years ago. And here I am with my father, everyone doing own game, my father painting and me playing innocently. And my father was the first person who bought me a computer when I was 15 years old. And since then, I just sit down and was sitting on a chair in front of a computer until my first health issues have started. I was running a small architectural studio in Prague, and because of what my doctors told me, I did something very crazy. So to their suggestion to change my whole lifestyle, I just left everything behind, bought some tickets to New York, and started to walk. This was everything I had. Basically, for several years on, I would have a little gas cooker, gas stove, and I would cook rice because rice was the only thing I could eat that wouldn't irritate my stomach. And this was happening for such a long time that the only thing that was important for me in life was that I can eat again. I didn't care about career, I didn't care about relationship, I didn't care about anything else. The important thing was that I can eat again. And this is the way how I traveled. I was standing by the road and showing everyone how cool you are. But also, if you have some space in your car, you can take me and give me a ride. I was living everywhere around the planet. Everywhere around the planet was basically my home. I would camp on rice terraces. I would camp by the rivers. I would sleep in the deserts. I would be in the Nujiang Valley in the spring. And there were many people who would join me. And sometimes I went into crazy places, like I camped on the top of a hospital in Japan. And yeah, I camped so many times that if I summed it up, I spent more than 1.5 years of my life living or sleeping in the nature. And this is absolutely nothing compared to the nomadic Mongols. And because of all the nice people I have met, and because of the feelings I had that there was something about meeting all these people. I felt that we are all equal, we are all very similar around the planet. And with the growing hatred, I had this feeling that I have to share these feelings and these emotions I had about these people that I have met. And that's why one day I decided that I'm going to make a little project that was simply called The People I Meet. So I would share stories of people I have met on my crazy encounters, and I will share some of them to you today as well. So these are some folks who were trying to get a better life. They were trying to migrate and cross the border to America. I have met them in Mexico, and they were trying to jump on a moving train. And as you know, many of them died by doing that. Then I met a kid in Egypt. He couldn't talk, but he gave me a picture. He drew me a picture about Muslims and Christians living in peace together. And that was his message. And I felt obligated to share it with more people than just me, right? I've met people living in dumpsters. This was in Nicaragua. They were living there. And I met, for example, Reina Isabel. She told me she's only 31 years old. And she's already having tuberculosis because of the smokes and the fumes that she was breathing in while living in a cardboard house. I meet guys like this Ecuadorian man, and I asked him, why is he dressed like a North American Indian? And he said, but if I dressed my Ecuadorian dress, no one would understand that I'm actually an Indian. I met this man, and he told me he was walking for 17 years in the forest of Thailand. And he only had three things: his robe, his bowl, and an iPhone, because the monk's supposed to have only three things. And because he never can say no, he welcomed many orphans, and now he's leading an orphanage from about 60 to 80 kids who he's taking care of. Then I arrived to China, and the first place I stayed was Shanghai. And when I went to Waitan to see the scenery, I met this group of ladies, and that time I didn't know they were from South Yunnan. And I just asked them, so what do you guys think about Shanghai? And they said, it's very beautiful and flashy, but we are missing the clean water and the fresh air in our mountains. Then I would meet a clown who would be outside on the weekends in the parks making little balloon animals for the kids. And to my question of why he's doing it, he said that he just feels that the people are so fast and unsatisfied and melancholic sometimes that he wants to create a little joy that he can share just for free, just like that in the parks. I met him near the subway station, and he told me he's retired, but he's so bored at home that he still goes out and sells fans for people. I met him and in a park, and he came to me, he approached me, and he asked if he could draw a picture of me for money. And I suggested him, why not I drew a picture of him for free? And I think he was not very impressed. I met them on the Waitan again, and one of the girls complained that the other girl, she never smiles on the camera. Then I met her, and she just said that I don't have to come up with such a story to just take a picture of her. And I met kids celebrating their holiday in the little hutongs of Shanghai. And then later on, I started to travel more west, not just in Shanghai, but around China. I met this man in Nanning, and I asked, why is he wearing a suit while he's fishing? And he said, I'm wearing suit to everything I do every day. Then I met this couple with a kid in northern Sichuan, and they told me a story that one day the man received a missed call. And it was so weird because he felt that on the other side of the line is a very, very sad woman. And when they finished talking, because it was just a missed call, so they cut the talks, he decided to call her again, find out more about her. And 1 year later, he visited her, and they got married and have children together. I met many monks, and this monk particularly told me that in life, nothing ever matters, because at the end, maybe we will all die because of Wi-Fi cancer. Then I met in Xinjiang this proud baker. He was really happy that he made such a big naan, because apparently it's really hard to bake it in their curved ovens. I met this lady in Gansu, and she was living alone because all of her familiars died, and she was so sad. So what I tried to do is to talk to the people on my socials and convince them to visit her from time to time and make her happy. I don't know what happened next, but I hope she has a happier now. She's more happier than before. He is the oldest paraglider in China, probably 76 years old. And he said that paragliding is only the 47th most dangerous sport in the world. So it's totally fine that he's doing it. And then, because I was traveling all around in different provinces, and I have been meeting with so many fantastic minorities that have so interesting cultural values and decorations and all kinds of headwears, that I was so fascinated by the colors and the patterns. So I have decided to examine these things further on. And it was kind of boiling inside me. I wanted to share these kind of feelings to the people. I've been to many very interesting villages that I have never seen anything similar around the world before. And that's why one day, especially when the pandemic hit, I decided that I'm going to move to Dali. Dali has a very good climate, and when I moved there, I decided to rent a house for 20 years and reconstruct it from scratch. So every day I was learning from YouTube, actually, mixing concrete, mixing needs a fan so I could put the white putty on the wall. I was learning how to work with wood. I was learning how to learn bricks. And if the house was ready by now, 5 years later, I would like to share the pictures, but sadly, I didn't manage to finish it alone. Anyway, I got finally the time to express myself, and I decided that I'm going to take and spend more time on art that was boiling inside of me while I was traveling, and I didn't have home. I couldn't have a studio where I could basically paint. And this is how I started. First, I was doing smaller formats. I was painting or drawing my inspirations from travels. And later on, I got to bigger formats. I was trying to express myself through my architectural background as well as what my father has taught me before. And then, for example, this is a Yunnan landscape where you have a giant train bridge, fast train bridge going through the mountains. Then you have this mural that I did near Kunming. And basically, the way how I come up with this idea, it's a large mural, 8 times 4 meters high. And the process how I did it was I would go around the village, take pictures of different elements and symbols, and slowly abstract them and convert them into my type of abstract symbols. And then I would paint them on the wall. And I didn't want to use too many colors because the village itself is already colorful. So I just wanted to be in the background, but still provide some of my inspirations there. And because of all this, because I met many people in Dali who moved there at the same time as me, for example, my friend who has an architectural background as well, she told me she has so many windows, and if we can do something about it, that she can block the people from watching her on the inside, and vice versa, her looking at some ugly houses on the outside. So this is when I showed up, and I was trying to figure out some kind of patterns that I can paint on the window. And painting on the window is quite tricky, because you have to know how to do it properly, otherwise the paint will run over and you will be making a mess on the window, on the glass. So you don't want to do that. So slowly I started with lines. I would use markers and make linear patterns to cover certain areas of the windows to block the things we wanted to block from the view. And later on, I discovered that when the sun, the strong Yunnan sun, was shining on our windows, it made quite nice patterns on the floor. And I started to use more colors, and I started to use more different, more angular shapes, more complicated designs. And after all, I was so inspired that I actually painted my bedroom and the bathroom window in my own studio. So this is what it looked like. It looked simple, but it took me 3 days to paint each of these windows. Because of what I have done, I started to share it on the Xiaohongshu, and slowly more people got to notice that what I'm trying to do here. So they invited me to paint to different places around China. So I went to Shanghai, I painted on different festivals, and then because of all these linear patterns, I also decided to paint on tiles. And this one is in Chengdu in a small cafe called The Sense. And they asked me if I can do some art in their space. And because they have so many tiles on the wall and they were celebrating 9 years of their existence, I decided that I'm going to paint let's say 400 tiles, each in different pattern, to symbolize a guest that was coming there every time throughout all these 9 years. And each tile has a different pattern symbolizing each different soul that we have, but together creating one giant piece of art. And this is like how colorful we are on the inside in a way. I was so into these patterns, and many people asked me if I can come there, here, and there. So I had to figure out how to make them more easily accessible to more people around China, and not around China, but around the world. So I'm starting to convert them into a digital form. I'm drawing them in the computer as well. And hopefully I don't have to sit in front of the computer again. And by the side of all these paintings and linear shapes and patterns, I was also asked to do a statue. And because I think one of the most important things in our life should be the conservation of our natural environment, I decided that every time I get the chance to do a statue, I will dedicate it to a species that are going to extinct. And this one is about the polar bear. I know it's in China, we don't have eyes, we are not connected to the polar bears, but somehow we are directly affecting them as well. So I made this sculpture of the polar bear in granite in Fujian to remind ourselves that even we are not in the North Pole, there are some animals suffering because of us somewhere, and we should think about what can we do to reduce this problem in the future. And we came to the end of the presentation, and thank you for your attention. And please, if you can check out what I'm doing on my socials. Thank you very much for your attention, and have a good day. Thank you, Qingdao.